Welcome to Rabbi Knapp's 7th grade Gemara class. Today, in preparation for the Gemara on Daf Kuf Chet Amud Aleph in the Gemara in Pesachim, we're going to talk about actions and their meanings. We are all familiar with different physical actions that convey a certain message and a certain meaning. For example, when someone scores a touchdown in football, the referee and others will put the touchdown sign to effect. It's symbolic of great joy for the offensive team having scored the goal or the touchdown, and perhaps great agony for the defensive team having given up that touchdown. Or perhaps this picture here, symbolic of the jubilation and excitement upon students on the last day of school. Great excitement upon their faces, an action with symbolic meaning. This gentleman here means business. He says stop, and his action shows the meaning behind what he is trying to convey. He means business. Don't mess with this gentleman. And there are other actions that may convey messages of seriousness. This gentleman hiding behind the wall, raising the white flag, is about ready to surrender. And in Judaism as well, we know actions that convey serious meanings as well. These gentlemen sitting down low are observing a shiva house, and their actions too convey the meaning of sorrow and sadness. And we also know that were one to use the inappropriate action at the wrong time, the messages would be very damaging. For example, someone to show the touchdown at a shiva call, at a shiva house, that would be rather inappropriate. So different actions that we take physically sometimes convey the message of our actions, give a certain meaning, and sometimes in order to feel a certain way, we even take certain actions upon ourselves. Perhaps the people at the shiva call are not necessarily sad. The one perhaps mourning may not necessarily be sad. However, sitting low to the ground, observing an action of mourning is meant to help the person feel a certain feeling upon a loss. So actions certainly convey and deliver certain meanings. Our Gemara in the Gemara in Pesachim here will talk about what types of food require leaning. As the Gemara said, the Mishnah, said, Hafilu ani shebisrael lo yochol ad sheyasev, that the poor person should not eat until he leans. Well, what is the symbolism of leaning? When is it appropriate and when is it inappropriate during the Seder? And the Gemara says on this point, Itmar, it was stated a machloket Amoraim, a disagreement among the Amoraim, a very, very special language of Itmar reserved for this purpose, introducing a machloket among the Amoraim. Matzah tzarich heseba. When eating matzah, one must lean. Morer ein tzarich heseba. However, when eating the morer, one does not require leaning. And if you look in Rashi here, Rashi explains the symbolism between the leaning, why it is appropriate for matzah, and why it is inappropriate for morer. Matzah tzricha heseba, kivnei chorim, like free people, shu zecher legeula, which reminds us of the redemption. Matzah, it seems, is a sign of the redemption. Leaning while eating matzah would be appropriate because leaning too, it would seem, is an appropriate sign of redemption and freedom. Morer ein tzarich heseba, Rashi says, shehu zecher le'avdut, because the morer is eaten to remind us of the slavery. However, says the Gemara, yayin, wine, itmar mishmei de Rav Nachman, it was said in the name of Rav Nachman, tzarich heseba, it does require leaning, v'itmar mishmei de Rav Nachman, and it was also said in the name of the same Rav Nachman, ein tzarich heseba, it does not require leaning. So we have a machloket whether or not wine requires leaning. Meaning, does the individual while drinking wine must he be in a position of leaning? Vilo pligi, the Gemara says, and really they are not arguing the opinions that say wine does require or does not require. It's not really a machloket. Ha betarte kase kamai. This opinion is in the first 2 cups of wine. Ha betarte kasai batrai. And this one is referring to the last 2 cups of wine. As we know, there are 4 cups of wine. So apparently 2 of them require leaning, 2 of them do not require leaning. However, it is unclear at this point in the Gemara which 2 require leaning. Amri la lahaigisa. Some say it this way, ve'amri la lahaigisa, and some say it the other way. Meaning, some say the first 2 require leaning, the last 2 do not, and some say the opposite. And this will be the discussion of the remaining piece of the Gemara. However, just to clarify what it is we're talking about and why leaning is so important, if you look here at this picture, you get a better sense of how people used to eat in the times of the Gemara. You can see the people sitting around a pitched area, leaning physically on their left, facing a pit on the inside upon which they would grab their food. They would eat with their right hands, it would appear, and they would all share from a common middle table or area by which they took their food. And this was a sign of royalty. You can see perhaps some servants bringing food back and forth, while those fortunate enough, regal enough, royal enough to sit around not the table, but the area upon which there are mats in comfort, ate like kings. And so too we on Pesach night are supposed to feel like kings. We too are supposed to lean upon which for the food that required leaning. Matzah yes, maror no, and the Gemara is still in the discussion regarding wine, which we'll see later. Just by way of reviewing some questions: what is the relationship between actions and their meanings? Number 2, give an example from this slideshow of an action and its meaning. Number 3, give an example of your own of a symbolic action. Number 4, according to the Gemara, what type of food requires leaning on Seder night? Why? Number 5, according to the Gemara, what type of food does not require leaning on Seder night? Why not? Number 6, about what food was there a disagreement whether or not it requires leaning? Number 7, describe the physical position in which people in the times of the Gemara used to eat. And lastly, number 8, what was the symbolism of leaning in the days of the Gemara? Please feel free at any time to go review this Gemara in this slideshow, as I hope it helps introduce you to these very important concepts regarding Seder night. Thank you.